Alright, so now that you've learned about the religion of Mesopotamia, we need to learn about something that religion was very, very closely related to, and that was the government structure, specifically the role of the king. So again, please write the information on this slide in your notes. So first off, let's talk about where the kings came from. Why did they start having what we would call a monarchy, where we have a single person who has total control, and it's passed down from generation to generation? Well, it starts off with this. Remember, we had many different little city-states that were very close to each other within the Mesopotamia region between the two rivers, and eventually these city-states, as they get bigger, start to compete for resources. Well, because they're at war, they need to have a powerful military leader. And so the very first kings were more than likely these military leaders who, during times of war, had control over the people in the city-state, and then once the war was over, just maintained and continued that control. So the first kings really came out of the growth of these city-states and the fact that they started to fight each other over resources. Eventually, the kings would make sure that their power is maintained within their family, and this is where we get the monarchy, where it's passed down from generation to generation. Technically, this is called a dynasty. So the kings eventually would continue the tradition of rule within their family, and they would pass it down to a member of their same family, usually from father to son. And so this is what a dynasty is when the power of the government is passed down through members of the same family. So this is very common today. You have daddy who's a king, their son who's a prince, daddy dies or retires, and then the son takes over as the new king. So we still see dynasties very much today. Within Mesopotamia, again, this is where the tie to religion comes in. Because people believe so much in their religion, and the religion was such a central part of their life, in order for the king to maintain power and influence, he had to make sure that he was tied into the religion somehow. And this is why the kings during this time were called theocratic. When we have a theocracy, it means that the people within that kingdom believe that their king is chosen by the gods. So theocratic means like within the theory of the religion, within the belief structure of their faith and their religion. So a theocracy is when the king literally is seen as being chosen by the gods to rule, and therefore no one is going to question the rule of that king because the gods have chosen him. Or the people actually believe he is a living god himself. Either that he's a living embodiment of a god, like one of their gods had come to earth and put themselves within the body of this king, or they believe that they are the partial son of a god, or that they literally are just a walking god themselves. So you can see the very close relationship between the religion, the gods, and the government. And again, this is all for the advantage of the government, because when people believe that their king was chosen by the gods or is a god themselves, they are very much less likely to question the rule, judgment, policies, and laws of the government. Alright, so these are your notes on the government of Mesopotamia. Remember, you can rewind this if you missed any information. You can always pause it and let me know if you have any questions. I gotta remember how to shut it off.